Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be talking about Overwatch 2 and just more fails from Blizzard, honestly. We are on Dexerto. I don't know why I always have problems saying that, but we're on Dexerto, and this is by Carver Fisher. So, the title is Overwatch 2 fans furious after Blizzard reportedly fumbled Netflix TV series, which is something I think a TV, not necessarily Netflix, but a TV series about with Overwatch would be amazing, I think. Or just anything. According to Jason Schreier, a Bloomberg journalist who's publishing an entire novel on the inner workings of Blizzard, the company was in talks with Netflix after creating a series based on the game. Overwatch 2 lore is something players have been deeply attached to over the years, but also something we've seen less and less of from the team as time has gone on. That's true. I mean, that was one of the biggest things about the PvE that was supposed to happen in Overwatch 2 was that the story was actually going to move on and like actually be more than just a couple of the cutscenes or animated YouTube shorts that they did years and years ago at this point. Like, I feel like it's almost like over 5 years old. With Blizzard layoffs impacting the studio heavily and a lot of the team behind the actual storytelling getting axed, this isn't a huge surprise. Yes, and the fact that the majority of the storytelling team did get fired. And with the single player offering for Overwatch 2 being canned due to poor sales on an initial set of missions that were developed, new lore has been sparse and mostly attached to the new heroes. Which, it's true, the new heroes always did get a bunch of lore, though I must say, the canned due to poor sales, it's also because those missions were just bad and overpriced. They went from a full PvE mode to with a full PvE mode with skill trees and repeatable missions to no repeatable missions and skill trees removed for so just the story missions to being worse than the initial story missions that happened that created this whole thing in the first place. I can't remember what those missions were called now, but they were the ones where you got all the blue style skins. And like they were actually worse than the original missions. Like you can beat everything in like an hour or two. And it cost $15 and they weren't repeatable anyway. Like you could play them once and the story was okay and the missions weren't very interesting. So like the missions weren't they it's not that they just sold well, they're also just bad. Like I wish they actually tried to make something good cuz like I'm not trying to say the devs phoned it in, but like the dev whoever made those missions were not given enough time because so much work was scrapped from Overwatch 2. And it's just Overwatch 2 is a classic case of just poor management and just too much, like they did so much stuff that we're never going to see. Like basically I feel like 3 years of development and actual work went in that no one's going to see because everything was canceled. And the stuff that did come out was made within a year. So obviously it's not as good. Anyway, to continue on, however, according to Jason Schreier in this Reddit AMA discussing his novel, Play Nice, he revealed some of the things he learned about Blizzard from interviewing former and current employees. As it turns out, an Overwatch TV series was in the cards, along with ones from Warcraft and Diablo. That would have been interesting. I don't know about Diablo. I feel like Diablo, I guess it could work with Diablo. It's too bad StarCraft isn't even anywhere near this, but understandably. No one cares about StarCraft when it comes to Blizzard. The book reveals that they had series and developments with Netflix for Warcraft, Overwatch, and Diablo, but followed by a reference to a Variety article that describes a Blizzard lawsuit against Netflix. Blizzard was suing the streaming giant, claiming they poached former Blizz CFO Spencer Newman away from the company. As a result, any hope of getting the series made was snuffed out, according to Schreier's claims. And while Diablo and Warcraft getting snubbed is a shame for fans of both game series, both games have consistently developed story in the Diablo 4 and WoW respectively. It's true, the stories of both of those games are very developed. Some would argue that the World of Warcraft story has so developed that it's kind of weird now because it's no longer a war. It's like it's World of Friendship instead of World of Warcraft. But though I feel like if I remember correctly, they're kind of going back on that where there's actually going to be more wars happening now. And Diablo 4's story is Diablo in general is actually very developed. And even though people can talk about how Diablo 3 was a little bit too hopeful, but Diablo 4's story is very back down to the terribleness of the Diablo world. From the extremely well animated cutscenes of Diablo 4 and its Vessel of Hatred expansion to the World of Warcraft The War Within, bringing a significant development to the main story of WoW, fans of both series are eating good. Yeah, so both, I think, yeah, they're bringing it back when it comes to the story. Meanwhile, in Overwatch 2, the game's most exciting developments are crumbs of lore with new heroes like Venture and Juno, alongside brand crossovers like Porsche, Transformers, and My Hero Academia. Out of all the possible series that could have gotten a series, out of all the possible series that could have gotten a series, Overwatch needed it the most. And it's 100% true. Like, Overwatch needs something. I really hope there is an Overwatch spin-off game in development. Because like the Overwatch needs something to actually expand the story, and it can't be Overwatch 2 because the team in Overwatch 2 has proven they can't do it. So they either need to figure out a way to do it for a new team with a new game as a spin-off game. Like make the Overwatch PvE co-op game, just make it a different game and sell it. You know? No one's going to bat an eye if you make Overwatch like an Overwatch insert subtitle, it be the what's it called? Not all the characters, just a bunch of characters you can make. Like give it like if you're going with teams of 4, make 8 characters. You know, have the PvE like, you know, skill trees and stuff like that. And then sell that game. It's not free to play, sell it. Like it's a priced game. And then update the game later with probably, I would say, free content updates just to sell the game more. It's like, hey guys, we're adding to the game with new characters. Your favorite character is now in this game. And I feel like that would be a really good way to bring back a lot of the fans from Overwatch. And it wouldn't be just that, it would also be getting back the reputation Overwatch has become. Because Overwatch as a IP has a terrible reputation. In the general sense, Overwatch doesn't have the pull. When someone says Overwatch, it's immediately, most people's immediate response is ew, or something to that vein of response, because everyone is done with it. Because the only thing that Overwatch 2 has is a PvP ranked mode that and PV and quick play, which is more serious than ranked, I feel like sometimes. And so like there's the casual player base is basically gone. There is still a dedicated casual player base that love going on Overwatch once a week, playing a couple games with friends and leaving, but like that core player base of those types of players have moved on. And they need to get those players back because I mean, okay, that's not true. They need to get those players back, but not with Overwatch 2 because they're not coming back to Overwatch 2 because the players have left are done. You know, I'm one of those players. I'm not interested in the Overwatch 2 PvP mode. I'm just not. And even with the 6v6 stuff happening, like I don't even know if I'm going to try it out, honestly. I don't even know cuz like I'm just kind of done with that type of thing. And well, I mean, it's mostly just to see. We'll finish the article and then continue on. There's no way, replied Overwatch 2 content creator Flats. We lost so unbelievably hard, said another user. Others jump in, claiming that they got excited to see the mention of Overwatch animated series before reading this, that it was in development rather than it was actually being made. And I think that is actually the worst thing. The worst outcome possible is for people to find out that it was in the works and then it got canceled because Blizzard, being Blizzard, sued the company for the really stupidest reason ever. Like they did, like poaching a former Blizz CFO. Like why does that matter? Like why does that matter at all? Like why does that deserve a lawsuit? I didn't even know they did this, honestly. I keep up to date for most of the stuff. Like I do my best to keep up to date in the video game industry stories and like news cycles. And I don't remember this happening. I don't know when this, obviously this happened before, but like it's crazy to think that that's the reason this got canned. And I think the honestly the saddest thing is that the majority of the Overwatch 2 story and cinematic stuff that happens now is just brand crossover for skins. That I think that's the most sad thing right now, is that all the stuff that is being released for Overwatch 2 is please buy these skins. And if you're not interested in skins, there's nothing left. For instance, I'm not that interested in skins, and I basically stopped playing when Overwatch 2 first came out. And I have more problems with the I guess the direction of the game, but that might be a whole other topic. But for me personally, I don't like it's really sad because I definitely would have watched an Overwatch animated series, and I feel like a lot of people would, even outside of the Overwatch community, because the characters are the best thing about Overwatch. And the problem is the hilarious side effect of Overwatch is that the characters are also the most underdeveloped thing in Overwatch. So like literally the breadcrumbs that everyone has now is still the best part of Overwatch for a lot of people. The Juno stuff specifically, Juno sounds and is an amazing character from what I've seen. But do I care enough to want to play Juno? No. Not in a PvP 5v5 or 6v6 setting, because for a lot of people PvP is just not what they want. What they wanted was the PvE mode, and I'm still very depressed about it. That literally made me when they canceled that mode, I uninstalled Overwatch, because that was literally the only reason I was playing, because I was waiting for the PvE mode, and then everything else happened. And so I feel like the more and more I learn about Overwatch and its behind the scenes, the more and more that Overwatch is actually, I think, one of the top 5 most disappointing uses of an IP by any company. Like, at least a big company. Like any AAA multi-million, not even multi-million, like hundreds of millions of dollars behind that could go into developing something. Overwatch is the most underutilized and the waste of potential talent or potential just exploitative anything. Like nothing came out of Overwatch, I feel like, other than Overwatch 1 and 2, and you can't even play Overwatch 1 anymore. So like it's just such a waste of an amazing IP, I feel like, when it comes to this game, and it makes me sad, honestly. And I really, at this point, I am more interested in the fact that maybe one day we'll get an Overwatch spin-off game that isn't Overwatch 2. Because I feel like a lot of people, including myself, are just done with it. We're just done with the promises of Overwatch 2, because everything Overwatch 2 was supposed to be hasn't happened, and it's just a lot of broken promises, and it feels sad about it, honestly. Thank you all for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you enjoyed this. Remember, if you want to read the article yourself and support the creators of this, it is linked down below in the description. It's by Dextro and Carver Fisher. Thank you once again. Please subscribe. Go over to my YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, all with the same name, the Techno Jelly. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Goodbye, everyone.